This lecture will talk about templates. We'll first talk about the include statement, then the require statement, and then we'll learn about how we can use the include and require statements to make a template for our website. Okay, to demonstrate the include statement, I have an empty template here. I've given it title of templates, and I'll just go ahead and put some HTML in here, maybe a header that says this should be repeated several times. So now that I have this in here, we can just see that it's a normal web page. But if we want to repeat this several times, well, I could copy this and paste it several times on my web page if I want it on there. Then if I look back and wanted to change this, maybe instead of several, I wanted it to say many times, now I'd have to replace several a whole bunch of different times. Only copied and pasted it 5 times, but if it were 100 times or something like that, that would be a lot of work to change that. So we have the include statement, which we can do this. I'll start a new file, open up a new file here, and I'll put in this should be repeated several times. And I'm going to save this here as to include.php. So I made a PHP file that's not even a complete HTML document. It just has some HTML in this. I can also include PHP in here as well, like a loop, or a print statement, or if statement or anything. I'll just do a print statement saying this is repeated. Okay, and now that I have this, I'll go back to my other document, and instead of copying and pasting it 5 times, I'll enter into PHP mode, and I'll include the name of the file. So I do it like that, and I called it to include.php. And I'm saving these 2 files, the templates.php file and the to include.php file, in the same directory. They don't have to be in the same directory, but if I were to put it in a different directory, say if I had a directory within it that said includes, and then my to include file was in that directory, and in the same directory as the includes directory is the file templates, and I can do that. It's just like the relative links that you've learned about when you've done HTML. So since these 2 files are in the same directory, I can just put the name, and I'll save that, and then we'll refresh, and we have this should be repeated several times, and then we have what we're printing out. Now I can copy and paste this include statement several times and refresh, and then it gets repeated. Now you can see I have this semicolon here and some other here, and it's getting repeated 5 times. Now I did copy and paste the include statement, but if I want to fix that, I'll just bring back this, and you can see I have the extra semicolon right there that I can take out, and I'll save it, and notice I only had to make 1 change to change them all, and I can make that an exclamation mark or something like that. So what the include statement does is it basically copies all of this in this file into this spot in our PHP code. So it's just like a copy and paste, but you do it through code or programmatically instead of actually copying and pasting. And it has a really nice advantage of if I were to would have copied and pasted, I would have had to change each time I copied and pasted, I would have had to change it. But since the stuff that's getting put in is just typed out in one place, I'll just have to change it once, and then I can copy and paste it. Then it will, instead of copying and pasting, it will change it everywhere, and I don't have to worry about changing each copy. Now there's also a require statement, which is almost the exact same thing as the include statement. So I can, instead of doing include, I can put require here for each one of these. And as you can see, it doesn't change the web page at all. It looks exactly the same. So include and require right now appear to do the exact same thing. So what's the difference? The difference is when you misspell or the file that you're looking for isn't there, require will cause a fatal error that will stop your PHP script, so it'll stop immediately and it won't process the rest of it. So since I took off the E there, I have the require here, then my script would stop. If I were to use the include statement instead of stopping the script, it'll just print out a warning and then continue on. So I'll go ahead and print something out here. I should see this, because we'll get the warning, but then it will continue on and we'll print out I should see this. I'll make it bold so that we can see it there. And then I have the require here, and we'll forget the E on that one as well, so it's misspelled. Now I print out here I shouldn't see this, because I used a require statement instead of a include statement right here. The require will stop the script and we won't do any of the rest of this, so we won't even see these requires or the rest of the body. It'll just stop the page immediately. So now when we come and see the results of this, we'll see parse error on line 12. Got a semicolon right there. And now when we see the results, we see the warning, no such file or directory. It failed to open include.php, but notice I see I should see this. So it continued on, and then it required, and it got the warning, it printed out the warning, and then it printed out a fatal error, and it stopped. So we didn't see I shouldn't see this down below, it just stops. So that's the difference between include and require. So which one should you use? It's really up to you on what you want to use. Usually when you're including something, you probably want it on your web page, so your web page isn't going to work unless you spell it right, get the right name of the file, and it is case sensitive, so keep that in mind. And either way, you're going to see a warning message. Now you can customize PHP to not print out warning messages, so you could suppress the warning messages, and so include wouldn't do anything, and then require would kill your script. But it's really up to you which one you use. They both do the same, basically the same thing. It's just whether you want to continue or whether you want it to stop if that file wasn't there. Okay, there's also an include once and a require once. To do it, you just put an underscore here, and then once right here. And what this means is that if the file has already been included, don't include it again. Only include it if it hasn't been included before. So if if I put once on all of these, and I'll get rid of these print statements right here, and we'll see this page, and you can see that we only got it once. So on a single page right here, it seems kind of silly to only use it once. Well, why are you putting it in again if you already had it once and you only want it once? But sometimes you have several different files, and each file can include more files. So file 1 can include file 2, and then file 2 can include file 3, and file 3 can include file 4. So if you have several different PHP files that are getting included in, you might lose track of whether you included something or not. So and maybe some things that you could include are function definitions, but you can't define the same function twice. That'll cause an error. So let's say you define a function in file 3. So file 1 includes file 2 includes file 3, but then back in file 1 you include file 3 again. Since file 2 included it once, then file 1 included it again, then you'd include file 3 2 times, and that will cause an error. So by doing include once, you know that you're saying if it's already been included, I don't want it included again. So this is a good way. You should probably use require once every time you're including a file that has functions definitions or class definitions. And remember, the once means if it already has been included, don't include it. So if on this one I don't put the require once, I've included it once here, but down below I required it again, and then it will show up twice because this require doesn't check to see if it's already been included. It will just include it no matter what. And since this happens after this one checks to see if it hasn't been included, and it hasn't, so it does. Then this one checks and says, oh, it's been included, but this one doesn't even check and include it again. So we've talked about several things in this class, and I just wanted to interject something about programming here. Everything that I've taught you should be thought of as a building block or maybe a tool. I've taught you about if statements and for loops and the query string and the print statement, and all of those things are just basic building blocks that you can use to build something that you want, to build a web page that you want. And include and require can be seen as building blocks to do something that you want. So when you sit down to program, you kind of need two things. One, you need to know what building blocks you have and how they work. And so far in all of these videos, that's what I've been demonstrating, is all these building blocks that you have. You have an if statement, you have a for loop, a while loop. And I've covered them fairly quickly because I'm assuming that you already know how they work. And now we have two more, the include and require statement, which basically do the same thing. It's just another building block. But now, the other thing you need in programming is how to put these building blocks together to make what you want. And that's the harder thing to teach and the harder thing to do when you program. So I want to kind of demonstrate maybe some of the thought process on using these building blocks to be able to build a template. So the only building block I'm going to use is the include statement right here. And what I want to build is a template. I'm going to get rid of all of this. And first of all, what is a template? Well, a template is basically a blank page on your website. So it's not going to be completely blank, but it's basically, it should have the main navigation and the look and feel of your page all set up. But the main content area of your page should be blank, and you just fill in the main content. That way, when you want to create a new page in your website, instead of worrying about, the header and the navigation and the stuff that appears on the bottom and the side of your web page or the ads, you just want to worry about the new content for that page. So it'd be really nice if we have a template so that we can create a new page really quickly. And another thing is if we have 50 to 100 pages, and let's say that we want to change our navigation link somewhere, well, changing 50 to 100 pages would be a lot of work. But if we can somehow make it so that the navigation that's the same on every page is just stored in one file, then if we want to change something in the navigation, we can change it in the one file, and that change will be reflected on all of the pages within our site instead of changing it 50 to 100 times. So if I want to create a template that allows me to change just one file, and that change will be reflected on several different pages within my site, what tools do I have to be able to use to do that? And the one tool that I have is the include statement or the require statement, and so that's what I'm going to use to make it templates. And so throughout the rest of this lecture, I'll try to reflect my thought process as I have these tools or these building blocks, and I'm just deciding which one I need, and I should know how they work, and I'll pull them out and use them to be able to build my website. So I'll create a page. This would be like a header section, maybe where I could put the main logo on my site. So I'll just put main logo. You know how most sites have a kind of banner across the top to kind of identify the site. And then I can have a navigation section. So I use the HTML5 nav tag for that. So maybe have a couple links in here. Home.php, so this is my home page. And then I'll just copy and paste in some other links that we can have. And then maybe about links and resume. So this site that I'm building right now only has 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, but we'll add on to it as we go. And then after that, I have my main content. So I'll just say main content goes here. So this is the only place on all of my pages in my site I want them all to look the same, except for what goes in this main content area. And then I can have a footer that could have copyright information and stuff like that. So, and maybe some additional links like to the privacy policy or stuff like that. So I'll just do the % copy 2013 by me right here. And I'm gonna use the header, the HTML5 header tag instead of a div tag here. So I've kind of described my full page, or I've kind of set up a full page here. Now if I had a lot of time, I would really style this up and make it look really nice with a lot of CSS and stuff like that. But since I'm just teaching you PHP in this class, this will be kind of a plain page. But here we have our main logo, we have our links, the main content, and in the footer we have the copyright right here. And so now this is every page should have all of this in it, and then it should also have all of this, and this is where things should change. So on the about page, it probably have a different main content, and the links would have a different main content, and the resume would have a different main content page. So how can we do that using the include statement? Well, let's cut all of this out because all of this is going to be the same on every page. So I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to save this page right here, and I'm going to create a new page right here and paste it in. And I'll save it. As header.php because it's the stuff that comes at the top. And now I'll cut all of this out right here, create a new page, and I'll save this as footer.php. And let me paste it in and save it. Alright, so now I have the footer and I have the header, and then what's left is just the main content. And again, this is the stuff that would be different on every page. So I can go into PHP mode right here and include my header, and at the end include my footer. Okay, and let me see this page. It should still look the same. Now these links don't go anywhere, but let's go ahead and make this home page, and I'm going to save this templates.php. I'm going to save this as index.php because it will be my home page, and then the main content area I'll say this is the home page. Okay, and then let's go into my header.php, and instead of home.php I'll go index, so it's index.php. I can refresh this. It's still on the templates, but now when I click on this home link, now we're at index.php right there. That's because the link goes there, and now I can create a new file right here. And now I want to do my about page. So look how fast this is creating a full page. I've already set up my template, so I'll just go into PHP mode and include my header.php. About me. And at the bottom, include my footer. And let me save this as about.php in the same directory, and fix that. And now we have the home and about me page. So I am going to quickly finish the links and resume page. And so I have made this links page that links to BYU Hawaii. So we can click on that link, and there's a link to BYU Hawaii. And I've also finished a resume page that says hire me, so I can click on that link, and you can see that all these work. So all these pages. Now what if I wanted to instead of links, I want to make this interests or hobbies or something like that. If I want to change that link, well, what I'd have to do is go back to my header. Instead of it saying links, I could say hobbies. Right there. And notice I changed it on one page, but look, it's changed on all the pages because I'm using templates. So templates is a really easy way to include, right? Really easy way to create a template for your web page so that everything looks the same. And then It's really nice because if you change something in the template, it changes it on all of your pages. I could change the footer as well, or this main logo, and then each file, you have the header, you have the footer file that has the footer information, and then you have all your other pages that are just the content with include statements. So all you have to do is include the header, include the footer, and in between them put your content. Really easy to create a new page.